In today's video we're going to be solving a 6KU Codewars coding challenge called Sum of Digit or Digital Root. If you just stumbled upon the video, I put a link to the challenge in the description of the video, so let's do it. Okay, if you're here, I hope you already read the description of this challenge and you know what we're supposed to do. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go and copy the starting function from here and copy it into Visual Studio Code. So remember, once we have reduced this number to its digital root, which should be only one digit, we need to return that digit. So we can say if, and remember you have to do this through recursion, not through some other clever equation or some stuff. We have to basically call digital root within itself. So what we want to say is if n is less than 10, then return n, right? Otherwise what we want to return is basically we call digital root again, which is basically, this is the recursion because we call it within itself. And what we want to call it, we call digital root if the number that is passed in digital root is not less than 10, which means it's bigger than 10, so it's 10 or it's 10 or something higher than that. Then we want to call a digital root of the sum of its number until the sum of its number is less than 10, which means it's only one digit, and then we return it. So what we want to say here, we say return digital root or and now we have to, in here we have to pass the sum of the digits of n, which is going to be more than 1 because n is 10 or higher, right? So what we want to say is first we want to say n plus, and we are going to add it to a string because we need to transform it to a string. Well, we could use also a for and basically add the numbers like that, but what we can do is we basically add it to a string, we transform it into a string, and then we want to say split by nothing. And when we have the number as a string and then we split it by nothing, it's basically going to make an array with all the numbers, all the digits in the number as elements, but all of them will be strings. So now we want to basically add all those numbers, but we don't want to add them as strings because that will just make the number back up. We want to add them as numbers, so we want to make the sum of that. So what we're going to say, we're going to use the reduce method on arrays, and we're going to say accumulator and value, right? And this will be starting from 0 because it is a sum. And what we want to say is accumulator, we want to return accumulator plus value, and it would be accumulator plus value, but because value is a string we need to put another plus before it, which if you put a plus before a string that is a number, it will transform it into a number. So that's why we put the plus here to transform this string in a number. So basically this reduce is making the sum of all the digits, and we pass that sum into digital root and we return that as long as n is less than 10. Once the n is just one digit, then we return n and the recursion ends, right? So let's copy this and try it out. Test, and it's passing for this, and it's passing for all the tests, right? Now we can basically use a ternary operator here, and instead of saying like this, we can just copy this condition and we say return, and then we say n is less than 10, then return n. So here this is, we're using a ternary operator and we get rid of this return. So we're saying if n is less than 10, return n, else return digital root of this thing, which is basically making the all this chain is basically, this is transforming the number into a string, then it's splitting into an array of strings, which is basically the digits, and then it's making a sum of all those digits, which is passed into the digital root, right? So let's try this again. Test and attempt, and this works. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this one. This is a nice example of recursion, and yes, I'll see you next time. Bye bye for now. Hey, I just wanted to mention, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more content like it, smash that subscribe button, click the notification bell, and YouTube will send more of my content your way. See you next time.